Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome back, or welcome if it's your first time here. In case you're new, my name's Elena. This is Elena Lane, and let's get right on into it. Today, we are continuing on with Rachel Ost's 60 Days to Minimalism Challenge. I have a link to that as well as her channel down in the description box below, as well as up in the cards. Today is all about 20 things that I'm grateful for, but just before we hop in, a couple of housekeeping things. First, my hair is wet. I'm sorry. I'm getting ready for work. Second, you're gonna see me kind of glancing down. I wrote them all in a list, and I just want to make sure that I'm spatting them out in the right order, or at least that I tick them all off. And lastly, some of these things I'm grateful for sound very, very serious, and others a little more lighthearted. I didn't think they all had to be serious as long as there are all things that I'm genuinely grateful for. All right. Hopping right in. The very first thing that I am grateful for is my legs, or rather my mobility. I'm very grateful for the fact that I can get up and walk around my apartment to get myself ready for work. I can walk to work and back, as well as school. I walk everywhere. I'm not sure where I would be if I couldn't do that. I'm not prepared to handle that kind of situation, so I'm very grateful that I do not have to. The second thing that I'm grateful for is my apartment itself. I'm grateful that I live in a very safe area, grateful that I have locks on the doors just in case, that I have a roof over my head, and I know that I'm okay. I don't have to wonder where I'm going to sleep at night. I have a spot. The third thing that I am grateful for is my ability to pursue an education. As much as I get really stressed out about school quite often, I am really grateful that I have the opportunity to do this, because not everybody does. Some people don't even get to finish high school. Not only did I do that, I'm also going to finish off my university degree. And I'm just very grateful that I get to have that kind of education. The fourth thing that I am genuinely super grateful for is my support network. So that's my friends, my family, my boyfriend. All of them kind of come together in this lumped statement, I guess, because I didn't want to cheat and make them separate. But I'm really grateful to have the support network that I have. Life is hard, don't do it alone. That's really all I have to say about it. Moving on. On a very related note though, I'm also really glad that I have my workplace support. I know I mentioned in a previous video that work was super stressing me out. And it is. That hasn't changed. But my boss is back now, which is great, because just shifting back into the role that I'm actually supposed to be doing means that I'm not trying to do two full-time jobs at the same time. And now my direct superior is someone who not only sees what I actually do, but also appreciates it, which is awesome. And I just am really grateful for the fact that not only does he, but my coworkers as well, are really supportive in the fact that I do a lot at my job and they want to help me, and they want us as a team to succeed, which is awesome. The sixth thing that I am grateful for is having financial stability. And I could make a whole other video or even a series of videos on this, but I'm really happy that I have financial stability. I might have debt, but I have stability. I know that working these hours will help me pay off my bills, and I know that I'm not running behind. I am not playing catch up on anything. And I realize that for quite a few people, this is not the case, and I'm very grateful that I've put myself in a position where I have this now. The next thing that I am very grateful for is the internet, or rather just the connectivity in general. I'm grateful that I have access to things like my cell phone, that I can look stuff up online. I have access to things like YouTube that allow me to connect with other people. And just in general, I'm very glad that I live in a society where I'm privileged enough to be connected to information that I might need when I need it. But the next thing I'm really grateful for is tea. Much like a lot of people are really grateful for coffee and its ability to get them through the day, that is my feelings towards tea. I do not drink coffee. It's a little too much caffeine at once. The next thing that I'm grateful for is literacy. A lot of people are not literate. Like, I never really looked into it before, but it was mind-boggling. So I'm so grateful that not only did I have the initiative and the ambition, but I had family members who wanted to teach me how to read when I was young. And I knew how to read before kindergarten. I mean, I wasn't reading chapter books, but I could read basic stuff. And it grew from there. And I'm just really grateful for that because it's opened up a lot of doors for me. The 10th thing that I'm grateful for is my ability lately to travel quite a bit. I've made a video about my trip to Vancouver. What you may or may not be aware of, because I can't remember if I've mentioned it before, is I've actually traveled quite a bit in 2017. Vancouver was kind of the pinnacle trip. It was the furthest I'd gone, and it was my first time going. Whereas everywhere else I've been, I have been before, but still just the ability to travel and kind of see other things, change the routine a little bit, just experience other things. It expands your horizons a little bit, and I'm really grateful that I've had the opportunity to do that. And I'm hoping I get to do that in 2018 as well. Number 11 is very much related to literacy, but it is my book collection. I am very grateful that not only can I read these books, I have access to them whenever I want because they're here in my home. I try not to keep all kinds of books constantly in the apartment, but the ones that I really enjoy or that I find myself reading several times over, I'll keep those in my apartment, and I'm really grateful that I have those right at my fingertips whenever I'd like them. Number 12 is music. I love that I can wake up to music in the morning, listen to happy music when I'm happy, and just I can make the music suit my mood and have the music help me change my mood and just be very fitting to various activities. I find it very uplifting. I feel like I'm going really fast. Am I going really fast? Number 13 is one that, while I never really took it for granted, I didn't really realize what kind of an impact it had on my life in my childhood. But I am so, so grateful that I got to essentially grow up right on the water. My grandparents have a house right on the water, and because we lived within very easy driving distance of them, essentially I grew up right on the water. I spent my summers there, I spent most of my weekends there growing up, and they lived right in nature, so I was always there, and I learned how to swim pretty young, and I'm a fairly strong swimmer because of it. And I'm just very grateful that because of where they live and me having easy access to them, it taught me how to swim very early on. I can skate, I can hike, I've got to build forts in the woods. I'm just very grateful that that got to be a part of my childhood. Number 14 is my health. I am so, so grateful that I can get up most mornings, at the very least, and go to work or go to school or go see my friends or do whatever it is that I wanted to do that day, and I'm not too ill to do so. I think a lot of us sometimes get caught up in drudgery or the monotony of our lives and having to do these things, and we forget that at any given point, really, your health could take a turn for the worse and you can't anymore. And I'm really grateful that I've been able to do that for this long, because I've been ill in the past and I do get sick sometimes. But I'm really grateful that for the most part I am healthy. Number 15. I am very grateful that I am Canadian. You can look at stereotypes or really anything, but when it comes down to it, I'm very glad that I get to live in this country. Every country has its problems, but for the most part, I really love living here. I like that where I am, I get to experience all 4 seasons. I love that when someone does get sick, we have universal health care and they can go see a doctor. I'm very grateful that I get to be Canadian. Number 16, food. I am so grateful for food. I have never actually gone hungry. There have been points where I have felt like I was famished, but I've never gone hungry, and I'm very grateful for that. I'm also grateful for the clothes on my back. I'm grateful for the fact that I don't live in rags, and that while I'm still in the process of downsizing my wardrobe, so it seems a little counterintuitive, I am very glad that I have these options of clothing and that I'm not being forced to live in rags or wear dirty clothes, or I'm grateful that I have clean clothes to wear every single day. But number 18 is that I'm very grateful that I have the ability to hope. I have seen so many people go through bad things and have it completely ruin their lives. It's almost as though these things have destroyed their will. And while I understand that, I'm very grateful that when bad things happen to me, I take some time to be sad, but I'm very hopeful for the future. And it's that hope that typically drives me to get myself up and keep going. Number 19 is I'm so grateful for electricity. Without electricity, how would I charge my phone? How would I turn on my lights when it gets dark? My apartment runs on electric heat. Without electricity, I would be very, very lost. And number 20, my last one for today, I'm very grateful for my ability to plan. Which probably also sounds odd, but I'm very grateful that I have the mindset where I make a game plan for my day and I try to stick to it and get everything done. It's how I can manage to work full-time while going to school full-time and still try and squeeze in time to see my friends and make these videos. So it's not perfect. Sometimes my planning ability is still a little lacking and things don't always go exactly according to plan. But for the most part, I'm really glad that I have this mindset where I'm not always flying by the seat of my pants. I can sit down and figure out what I need to get done and how it is going to get done. But now that I've listed off my 20, what are a few of the things that you're grateful for? Leave me a comment down below and let me know, and I will see you all next week. Bye guys.
When you fall asleep tonight, just remember that we lay under the same stars.